right, we're live, Tammy. We are live. How'd you like that?
It was good.
Quick, simple, easy.
That's right.
Welcome to LWN Network tonight, folks. We are here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to remember an American hero, Charlie Kirk, who had lost his life this afternoon. Horrible, sad story. And we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about all the things Charlie Kirk, and we're going to talk about his family. We're going to talk about what he actually did for America and how he brought the younger generation to the table, not just for Donald Trump, but for the Republican Party, for the Republic, for America, to get people engaged again, especially that younger generation that so many of us have a hard time connecting with. Well, he was able to do that. So that's what the show is about tonight. We're also going to do live call-in. So here's the only rule that I have about the live call-in. I want you guys to know that once I turn this on, it costs me money every minute that goes by. And when we sit here idly, once I turn the call-in show on and nobody calls in, it costs us money to sit here and just idle. So the only rule that I have is we will not discuss any kind of equipment that deals with the Second Amendment. We will not talk about any kind of retribution or kinetic thoughts that we have about the situation involving Charlie Kirk. So you guys can call in, you can yell, you can scream. I don't even care about profanity. You can cry. You can tell us what you love about Charlie Kirk the most. Anything that you want to talk about. I want to give America a voice tonight. We just can't talk about those things that will get us kicked off this channel, which would be anything, again, equipment that has to do with the Second Amendment or kinetic thoughts or anything like that. Retribution, we're not going to talk about that. So I'll let you guys know when we turn that on. But Tammy, I know that you've been on vacation for a while. I've been busy. And so this really was not, at least for me personally, was not the show that I wanted to come back with after your vacation, my vacation, and everything that's been transpiring in our own personal lives. This is not the show that I wanted to do. But with what happened to this afternoon, I felt like it was appropriate for us to come back and honor an American hero.
Absolutely, 100%. And I'm glad that we are doing this. I think it's something that it needs to be done. I think that there's a lot of people feeling a lot of things at this point with what occurred.
There's tens of millions of angry Americans out there, young and old. And I don't mean to cut you off, Tammy, but I have to say this too. On this platform, we do not condone violence. We do not condone, again, any kind of retribution. Anybody out there who's thinking of payback, that's not what this channel is about. That's not what this platform is about. So we don't condone that. What we want to offer tonight is an available platform where if you want to call in and just, like I said, cry, shout. We're going to have a moment of silence here in a little bit. If you guys want to pray, if you guys want to say, tell us what the most awesome thing about Charlie Kirk was, great. But again, this channel, this platform does not condone any kind of violence or kinetic energy for that matter. And I'm sorry to cut you off, Tammy, but I just had to throw that out there.
That's absolutely fine. The emotions are raw. They're high. We put in the title, is this the breaking point? The final straw that broke the camel's back. This is the thing. Charlie Kirk was a wonderful man. He was only 31 years old. He had a wife and 2 kids. One kid is a son that's just like a year and a half old. And I'm not sure.
Even 2. He's not even going to know who his father was. And that's sad.
But this is the thing. Charlie wasn't going to give up. He said he would never give up. He would never stop doing what he was doing. And if you paid any attention to who Charlie was, he wanted to have discussions. He held discussions at campuses. He was going for the 31 and under crowd to try to educate them, freedom of speech. If you didn't agree with Charlie, he always invited you to right up front to the mic. He said, okay, you don't agree. Let's hear your point. Well, let's hear what you have to say. He was never angry. He never left the stage angry. He never demeaned people. He wanted to hold the conversation. And you and I has said for many years that if we don't know how to hold conversations and listen to one another, something is severely wrong with this country. And that's what appears to have happened today. There's somebody that didn't agree with him and what he had to say in his stance and wanted to take him out and did. And this is not what this country is based on. This is not what our country is about. And, there's a lot of people that will shrivel up and back away and say, you know what, I'm not going to risk my life. I can't do this anymore, and back away. But Steve Bannon, Jack Posobiec, who are good friends of Charlie, said he would say next man up. So, in other words, stand up, stand strong, don't back down, don't cower. We need to continue this fight. Fight for what's right. We can't let the enemy win. We can't let violence win. It isn't the guns, it is the people. The very people that say, you know what, we want to be able to say who we are and you accept who we are, and it doesn't matter, the left, the extremists, the transgenders, but they want us to accept them, but they don't accept us. They're, the last 8 or 9 violent circumstances involving guns and knives and whatnot have been from transgender people. We have a big problem in this country that needs to be addressed and fixed immediately. There should be no tolerance for this whatsoever. This church shooting that happened not long ago, the girl on the subway, the Ukrainian girl that just got stabbed, this is not the country that we grew up in, that we are, and it's not a good representation. And Charlie Kirk would not want us to back down. Charlie Kirk would want us to continue forward, and that's what we need to do.
Well, I believe Charlie would definitely want us to continue forward, but again, I want to be clear on this message. I am not condoning violence. I'm not suggesting violence or anything like that, but I also want to say in the same sentence, nor will I become a victim.
Correct.
I am a lion. I'm going to protect myself and my family, and I think with everything that's been going on for the last 6, 8 months, 9 months, even with the attempted assassination on Donald Trump, we all need to be vigilant. We all need to protect ourselves and be ready for anything, to be honest with you. I know that recently I've made some changes in my own life, and after today, I'm going to continue to make changes to where I am in a position of protecting myself. And I think that all people should do that. I know that years ago I had somebody call into the show, and we discussed this very scenario where you're put in a situation where you have to protect yourself. And this individual, won't say who they were, they basically said that they would roll over and let somebody basically end their existence because they couldn't even think of the possibility of them protecting themselves and hurting someone else. Now, I know that there's probably people out there listening tonight that probably feel the exact same way. I am just not that person. I'm sorry. If it comes down to them or me, I'm going to always choose myself, especially when it comes to my family. If it's between them and my family, I'm always going to choose my family first. And I think that's what makes a strong society, is the fact that we are self-reliant and we're able to protect ourselves. That's what's kept us out of, I believe, invasion here in America, is that for every blade of grass in America, there's a Second Amendment piece of equipment out there. And I'm trying to be careful what I say, obviously, because they will take us down for certain words, trigger words. But I'm just not going to become a victim. Now, I'm not saying that was the situation with Charlie or anyone else. Charlie was a person that I believe he really believed in humanity and that people were all good. And I do believe that most people are good, but there are some out there that have the worst intentions. And I'm going to just put myself in a position where I can combat those worst intentions if I can. And I don't know, Tammy, it's a sad day in America to see an icon like Charlie Kirk end up paying the ultimate price just for the simple fact of wanting to educate people, especially this young group of people. And he educated them not with lies, not with disinformation, not with misinformation, but he educated them with facts. And he did it in such a manner that it wasn't demeaning to them. It wasn't aggressive. It was, I thought it was a lot better than I could ever do, because he kept his cool, and he allowed them the opportunity to speak their mind, and then he would correct them with facts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What actually did he do when you step back a little bit and you look at his career? He started at Breitbart, and he now, he had the Turning Point USA, which I attended in Florida, in West Palm Beach. And I'll tell you, it was educational. It wasn't just for the young. I mean, the young people, 31 and under is what he went after, but there were older people there as well. But it was just to educate. It was about standing your ground, knowing to find the truth, and to find, how to handle conversations and not just shut people down, or not just believe one way without hearing the other side. He was a debater. He was a open discussion.
Damn good one too.
Yeah.
Damn good debater.
So does he deserve to have to him what happened happen? Absolutely not. You look at history across the board, it seems like anybody who's an innovator, a changer, somebody that is making a positive impact in the world, they're the ones that they take out. And when I say they, it's the people that don't want that to happen. They don't want us united. They don't want us educated. They, whoever they may be, are the ones that are in power and control, that have the money, that control things. They don't want that power taken away from them. This is not something that I even thought about that would possibly happen. I really thought that Steve Bannon would have the bullseye on him over Charlie Kirk. But then you look at it, LW, Charlie Kirk did go after the college people. The college people, and you look at what we found out about colleges and what they teach in colleges, how they allow who gets into the college. It's not very equal. It's not very fair. And we found disturbing things about that. The president has taken away grants and different funding for different colleges because of their admission, the way they do admissions, and it's not fair. So it doesn't surprise me, I guess, now in hindsight. But you got to remember, you guys, the people that put their faces out there, they are risking their lives each and every day. They are.
We talked about that, and we talked about our path 2-3 years ago that we were on. There were lots of times that I felt like obviously we were a target, and I had a conversation with a friend of mine while this was going on today. Made a couple of statements to him via text. Said that there was some Second Amendment things that I wanted to make sure were always in my truck. And they said, well, you're a target. I'm not. And I reassured them it doesn't matter whether you feel like you're one or not. You should always have that constitutional right there next to you. And, those words, while this was all unfolding for Charlie Kirk, definitely made me pause for a moment and said, you know what, there's a lot of things that we've been putting out for years that definitely makes people like yourself and me, Tammy, targets. And if we would have continued down a certain path that we were going a couple years back, 2-3 years back, we very well could have been in a similar situation. But we chose to take a different path, kind of back off a little bit, but it's still out there. That threat is always there. I had an individual on Sunday pull up next to me, roll the window down, and attack me because of a traffic signal. And I was wearing this exact hat that I'm wearing tonight. Just by wearing this hat alone, words were shouted, you Trump supporter, blah, 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 blah. I won't repeat them. But, I mean, all you have to do is wear something like this, red, white, and blue. Freedom, liberty on my shirt. Like, these people will take that thing and assume and just go crazy over the fact that you love freedom, liberty, you love freedom of speech, you love the Second Amendment. Whether you support the T-Man or not, it doesn't matter. They throw you in this category, stereotype you, and they get, this person was very violent and very vocal through the window. And I was just like, holy cow, if they had one of those Second Amendment pieces of equipment, would they have pointed that in my direction? And I was like, holy cow, this is some real shit. That was Sunday. Here we are Wednesday, 3 days later, and I shit you not, Tammy, today I made a comment to my tool partner early this morning before any of this unfolded. And I said, and I was talking about the event that happened to me on Saturday, and I said, could you imagine if those type of individuals did believe in the Second Amendment and had those pieces of equipment on them when they are in these violent rages and this disconnect with reality, how they go berserko? Could you imagine if they had those pieces of equipment on them, what they could do to an individual? Because I was talking about my Sunday interaction with this person, and then boom, here we are, Charlie Kirk. Now I don't know who did this. As far as I know, we thought it was the old man that they showed videos about, and then we hear that that person had not been apprehended yet. There's speculation on yes, they have, and they got a rifle. I don't know. I haven't been following the X for hours now, but that's scary to know that just because we believe a certain way, we have certain ways that we think people will consider us such a threat. And again, and I'm going to say this because I don't give a fuck. Lamestream media should be at blame for a lot of this stuff because Joe Biden himself said we need to put a target on that person. Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, a lot of them have made comments that put us, whether you're a Trump supporter, a conservative, a Republican, a redneck, anything, in a category that we are a threat to democracy, and they have put targets on our back, and they should be held accountable for this shit.
100%.
And so that is something that I think deserves conversation.
And don't forget Maxine Waters. Remember Maxine Waters at the podium in front of the mic. And this is the whole thing that, they're the ones that say, oh, we need to include people. We need to accept people the way they are, no matter what they want to be called, et cetera, et cetera. Yet they're the ones calling violence against people who won't accept that or people that think differently. That is not free thinking. That is not America. That's not the way it should be. Like I said, you take a look at the history of the violence that has occurred between all the different unalivings and violence. And it's not people that are conservative. It's not people that, excuse me,
okay,
my voice
right
is
Holy
going.
Shit. Frog jumped right down there.
I've been fighting a cold.
Holy
Wow.
cow. Do you need to take a second here? You need some honey, Jack, is what you need, because that cures everything. All right.
But anyways, it's still not there. But let me finish this thought, even though it's my voice is high.
Okay.
I've just been fighting a cold for like 3 weeks now. But the thing is that the people who say we need to accept them and who they are and what they are, no matter what they want to be called, will not accept us for our conservative values. They want to take us out. What is that about? And you look at the violence, like I started to say, across this country of who's committed the violent things that have happened to individuals in churches, wherever it may be. And it's not the conservative people. This isn't about Trump. This is about who we are as people. Is this where we want to be in America? Is this where we want to be? The 250th anniversary celebration's coming up in July. Is this where we want to be? So we have to take that fork in the road. We either go left or right. What are our thoughts? What do we want to be? What do we want to represent? What do we want America to be? And we have to keep pulling forward. Now, the positive thing too with this president and this administration is they've been taking care of a lot of things that the last administration didn't care about, from the border, from illegals, etc. And also, this is a beautiful, wonderful thing that went to the wayside, and I don't know if much was done when the last administration was in, but President Trump put all the American flags down to half-mast in honor of Charlie, and it's going to last till Sunday at 6 p.m. Yeah. And a simple little thing like that puts it in our minds that, you know what, this was a life of somebody that was a patriot, that tried to make positive change. And like I said before, we want to all have discussions and talks, and we have to be able to learn how to talk and debate again. We don't know how to talk. It is, if you don't agree with what I agree with, you're either a racist, or I'm going to take you out, or you're all these different names they call us. And it's like, when we put it in the title, is this the straw that brought the camel's back? I believe it is, because I don't think that people are going to take this sitting down. And I don't mean in a violent way. I mean, we're going to use the power that we have as far as voting, as far as educating one another, as far as looking past President Trump or other people. What do we want to have our lives like from this point forward in the future? There is nobody that should have to risk their lives because they're trying to make America or conversation better. You know what I mean? It's just it's just gotten to the point that it's ridiculous, and it's horrifying to me.
I think I'm going to stop for a moment. We're going to do a moment of silence and probably do a prayer. Tammy, I sent you a text earlier for Erica, which is Charlie's wife. I'd like, after the moment of silence, for you to say a little bit about that. And then after Tammy reads that about Charlie's wife, I'm going to go ahead and open up the call center and allow you guys to go ahead and call in if you'd like tonight. And like I said, I'm okay with emotion. We just don't want to say certain things that lead us to getting taken down or censored or blocked or any of that stuff. So anything that's, I mean, it's okay to be angry. You can be mad as hell. I know I am. I know I was most of today. But we're not going to incite anything. As long as you keep it away from that, you can say whatever you want. I don't care. But let's just go ahead and take my hat off, and we'll just have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, for his family. Now would be the time, if you guys believe in prayer, to go ahead and say a prayer while we do this moment of silence. And then Tammy will just kind of take it from there and allow you to read a little bit about Charlie's wife. So let's go ahead and do that. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come to you this evening. Lord, we just place Charlie at your feet this evening, Lord, as he is already there with you, looking down on us. Lord, we pray for his beautiful, wonderful young wife, Erica, and their two young, beautiful children, Lord, as they don't even understand what's going on right now. And it's got to be hard for her to stand strong for those two young children tonight, as this horrific, tragic incident that happened this afternoon in Utah that took Charlie from his family and from us. Lord, this great American hero, this man who has given the ultimate sacrifice, he's given his life for a cause that he has believed in, that he has given years of time to put into all the young people here in America. He's traveled across this great nation to so many of these universities, these indoctrination institutions, where he could bring truth to these young people. And when he first started this, there's some of those young people now that have graduated college and become adults and have become more than likely parents themselves and raising families. Lord, we just pray that all those seeds that he has planted across this nation will continue to grow and to prosper, to bring forth fruit that Charlie works so hard to cultivate. Lord, he's touched so many lives. There's so many angry and pissed off people out there today that are, at times probably wanting to take justice in their own hands. Lord, we pray that cooler heads will prevail. Lord, we pray for Glenn Beck and for all of his colleagues that he's had over the years that are suffering tonight with this pain, and alongside his family, for people that he has just really helped push to that place where fact over disinformation and misinformation and indoctrination, that he's made such a change in their lives, Lord. So I just pray for the family tonight. I pray for his parents and for his wife and for his immediate family, that they have comfort in you, Lord, knowing that Charlie is there with you. Lord, I pray for all of our audience tonight, for our listeners, whether they're here live with us or if they come later this evening and tomorrow, that they hear this message as we celebrate and honor the memory of an American hero. And I say this in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, amen.
And we have to remember that he would want us to continue the fight, to move forward, to not shrink and be smaller, but to stay strong, just like he did all this time. He knew what was at risk. He talked about it. He said he would never quit or give up, and his wife supported him. They were very faithful believers. His wife, like I said, they put God first, then their family, and then what Charlie did, but she still supported him. And while the loss is immense, leaving his wife and children behind, the ones that are left behind are the ones that suffer, but we know he's in the Lord's hands and with the Lord, that his job was done. We may not agree with it or understand it, and we grieve with his wife and family, just as you prayed about is true. But I think this is his friend that you sent this information to me of what he put out there, because this is from a guy named wife, Grant Cardone. Mm-hmm. It says, Charlie Kirk, bold, fearless, unapologetic. You didn't play small. You didn't shrink to fit the mold. You went all out with your beliefs every single day. Charlie didn't wait for permission. He didn't ask for validation. He stood up in a world that rewards silence, and he spoke loud. Whether you agreed with him or not, you heard him, you felt him, and that's what the legacy is all about. He was a young guy with a big mission. He didn't wait for the world to change. He actually pushed it. I respected his hustle, his conviction, and his courage. And while the world debates, complains, and watches from the sidelines, Charlie played full out. Rest easy, brother. The fight continues, and your voice echoes louder than ever. And that is a beautiful tribute and honor to somebody. And that's the thing. We can get all caught up in the sadness of it all. I said that I was nauseous. I was very stressed out and all that kind of stuff. I told you earlier I couldn't eat and everything else. But the reality is, people that are patriots and fighters, they're the ones that would want us to continue forward. Now, when you talk about his wife, she's a driven social entrepreneur. She is a very passionate ministry leader and woman of deep faith. She is a president of the Los Angeles Women's Police Officers and Associates. and is a board member of Cover Now, and she was Miss Arizona or something, I do believe, in the past. But see, those things are all just secondary compared to her faith and who she was as a godly woman. And, in the worst of times, when you have faith and it is tested like it is now, that's where real faith goes in action. We can say we have faith, but if we don't act in faith when something bad happens, then do we really have faith? So, like I said, it's horrible. It's a tragedy. It's something that should have never, ever happened. But it did. And, there's all different things that are coming out now about this, but nothing is for sure yet. I mean, the most recent thing that they're talking about is they're saying that he had a bulletproof vest on, but the bullet ricocheted from that vest and went up and hit his neck. The point is, no matter what the stories are, he's gone from us now, and what we need to take away from what has happened is his legacy and what we can do to keep the world in the forward motion that Charlie had it going, and who's up next. Because like I said, Steve Bannon on Real America's Voice had his show, and then he threw to Charlie Kirk, and then it went to Jack Posebic. So they were all great friends. It's who is the next man up, who is willing to put themselves out there and stand up and keep the fight going like Charlie did. And that's what a true American spirit is all about.
I think Charlie Kirk is a great example of what a true American is and how he desired truth and facts and how he presented that to everybody, to us, to the college kids on campus, and he was a searcher for truth, and he wanted people to know the facts and to know the truth about America and about what's going on in this country and on our history and our future. I don't think he ever shied from that. He hit you with intelligence and with facts. And yeah, a lot of people didn't like it. He didn't purposely try to make you look like an ass. But you made yourself look like an ass. Honestly, Charlie didn't have to do anything. All he had to do was hand you a mic. And if you wanted to debate him and it was nothing but how you felt instead of fact, you got embarrassed. But that was not his true intention. I want to let everybody know, I just opened up the call lines again. This cost me money every minute that we run this. And so when we have dead airtime here and nobody calls in, it's costing me money. So anybody, listen, you can call in tonight at 620-317-1776. You can be angry. You can be upset. You can be sad. You can get emotional. As long as we're not going to do anything that would take this channel down by talking about anything kinetic, or anything that has to do with the Second Amendment equipment that we can all own and purchase out there. I want to keep it clean in that manner. I don't even care if you get on here and use profanity because you're just mad as hell. You have that opportunity tonight. I'm giving America their voice. Call in and let us know what was your favorite thing about Charlie. I think that's what this is all about. We are here to celebrate an American hero's life and his ministry, if we can say that, because that's what it was. It was a love for his country, and he wanted to share that with everyone else. So again, the number is 620-317-1776. Would love to have any of you out there. Again, it can be as quick as you want. Just call in and say hello, say, hey, I love Charlie, and get off. If that's all that you want to do, if you want to call in and say, hey, prayers to the family, and get off, stay as long as you like. We're not going to be here all night, but I will give you guys as much time as you need. And this is something that we cut our teeth on, was the ability to give people a platform where they have a voice. They can call. Of course, it's different now. It's kind of like a 1-800 number. You do it on your phone versus the old way we used to do it, Tammy, where people would have to hit a link and then come in. They like to camp out with us for a while. This is a little quicker, a little easier, but it still costs me money. For every minute, like I said, that goes by tonight that nobody calls in, it's costing me money to pull up this. So if you guys have the courage to call in tonight, I hope that you do, and would love to hear anything that you have to say about Charlie.
Well, I was going to say as well, and add to that Charlie would want that. He, like I said at the beginning, he said he wasn't going to quit. He knew the dangers. He knew the risks. He kept doing it. He said, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? He had a special niche and a special gift doing what he did. At these college campuses, you can look at all the videos or go rehash through the videos and just watch the way he handled himself. Once again, remember, he was never angry, never violent. He never stepped off the stage angrily. He never tried to make somebody feel stupid intentionally. He basically gave people a chance to voice their opinion, their thoughts, and why they felt that way. Now, a lot of people did kind of give up and walk away and say, okay, I'm not doing this anymore, or that's not what I meant, whatever. But they gave up in a rational way that sometimes they do. Trying to have a conversation with some of these people is insanity in itself.
Yeah, we got a caller, Tammy.
Okay.
We got a caller. Let me go ahead and bring him in. Welcome, caller, to LWN Network. Where are you from? What's your name? All right,
Can't hear
Kathy. It. I was praying for you today, Kathy. I know that you'd sent me a couple of messages. My heart goes out to you, and I'm actually very excited that you called in tonight, because you do have a lot to share about Charlie, and I'm going to go ahead and just give you the floor.
We can't hear her. So as he's working to get us to be able to hear Kathy, let's remember he wasn't just unalived. He was the A word, assassinated, basically. And it was in cold blood. That shouldn't happen here in this country at all. So no matter what your politics are, no matter what your views are, that shouldn't happen. We are America, and we should be able to communicate. And once again, I want to... There, we should be able to hear her.
Go ahead there, Kathy. I'm sorry, I was pushing the wrong buttons.
You were pushing my buttons. Now that's just terrible, LW. Like I haven't had my buttons pushed before. I mean, the stuff that's been coming out today, we started compiling what we could find. Some of it is AI fake, so be very careful what you're watching. Mm-hmm. There's somebody that, a friend of mine who's an IT specialist, he goes, nope. He said the guy with the shoulder rifle is an AI generated. He said, I went and looked. So we're seeing all sorts of stuff because people are reaching out for the truth, and they're generating stuff that they shouldn't. But we need to remember is that Charlie was one of a kind.
Yes,
and
he
I
was.
said this to Michelle C. just a few minutes ago. I have listened to almost everything I could find that he's ever put out. A friend of mine has gone to CPACs and turning points and everywhere that he's talked, and we were both devastated. We spent the afternoon in tears. Mostly because I feel so badly for his wife and his babies.
Yeah, me too.
And we as a country are going to raise 2 babies. We don't know that yet, but we are. But what I want to tell everybody, what I told the sit rep, I want you to take a nice deep breath. I want you to wait 48 to 72 hours before you have any kind of reaction, because something's going to give, and I don't know what it is, but I'm anticipating just about anything. It's going to be one side or the other. And if they're going to do something, let them do it. If they're going to trip over their ankles, let them go do it. But we can be prepared in a heartbeat. And I've told that bunch not to be prepared first.
Amen.
So if you know what I meant.
Yep.
I have been posting stuff to you that I've been finding because I wanted you to be prepared, and I also posted it to Tammy because she's not on Telegram, so I can't just share stuff off the page to her. So I'm trying. I'm just trying to get that girl on that page.
She'll get there. We got another caller, and I don't want to miss them either, but thank you so much for being brave tonight, Kathy, and calling in. I know this has hit you hard. prayers go out to you and your family, and we'll keep moving forward. That's for sure. That's what Charlie'd want.
That's what we're doing. Have a great night, guys.
All right, thank you. All right, let me bring in the next caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to LWN Network. What's your name? Where are you from?
Okay, you talking?
I'm talking to you, Skip. I'm talking to you, Skip.
Right.
It's you, brother. You're live. You're on air.
Oh, cool. First of all, I want to send out my prayers to Charlie's family. Wow, how devastating an assassination this is. Shows you how weak-minded these liberal people are, and they can't have any type of disagreement. Wow, I'm just sad. His family, I feel for them. Young daughters, his wife. All he's doing was a whole lot of good. The man was a genius.
Yeah, he was.
He could
He
have
was sharp as a whip, for sure.
So I just can't stand that stuff. But just hope that maybe these useless killings will come to an end, and I just pray for this nation, and especially our young people that have been so brainwashed over so many years.
Yeah.
That they don't know what to think. They don't even know who they are. They don't even know if they're a human or not.
That was the great thing about Charlie, Skip, is he was breaking through that brainwash, that fog. He was intelligently and with couth, he was really teaching this young generation the facts and what was really going on, and he had just a way with the youth. So tell me, Skip, what was one of your favorite maybe attributes of Charlie Kirk that you really enjoyed when you watched him or listened to him?
His patience, his understanding, tried to see their side, and then told him the truth behind it. Used a lot of scripture behind it to back himself up.
Mm-hmm.
But he revealed the truth, whether they wanted to hear it or not, and reasoned with them. And then, if he didn't know the answer, he flat out didn't. He said he didn't. Real truthful with them, really upfront, but really knew his stuff.
He was always pointing on, right? Real quick, stay with us, Skip, because I want to continue the conversation. 620-317-1776. We've had Kathy call in tonight, and this is Skip, my buddy Skip from Idaho here on the line with us. So call in. Like I said, you can be upset, you can have emotion. Tell us what you loved about Charlie the most, because tonight is honoring that American hero. Skip, Charlie went all across this country, and I know you and I have had lots of conversations about this indoctrination that these institutes seem to have and the grip that they have on our children. Anymore, I don't even know if it's worth sending your child to any kind of college or university, because that's what they're going to get. They're going to get indoctrinated with communism, with Marxism, with fascism, all the isms, right? And you and I have conversations about this, but Charlie had a way to break through that barrier. And like you said, he was a genius, and he is going to be sorely missed. He was on the front lines. I honestly believe if it wasn't for Charlie Kirk in this last election, could Trump have won? What's your thoughts on that?
So he was definitely a factor in the election. He was definitely a fact in people's opinions of how they basically just hated Trump and really didn't have anything logical to say why, other than just the bad rap he gets on from the media. And he put down the colleges all the time. He always said it was a scam. And, man, I'll tell you, goes to prove that man was right on.
Yeah, he was. It's just sad to think. Earlier today, before this all started unfolding, I actually, Tammy was watching a video. I can't even make this shit up. It was in Utah. It was where Charlie Kirk was at. It was his whole thing. There was a young lady. I don't even know if you want to call her a lady because I think she thought she was a cat. I can't make this shit up. She had little furry cat ears on, and there was a gentleman there with a mic, and he goes over to her, gives her the mic, gives her the opportunity to speak, and she says, "We don't want Charlie Kirk here in Utah." And he says, "Why is that?" "Well, he's a fascist." And he responds with, "Well, what is your definition?" And I'm going to go to Skip on this. "What is your definition of a fascist?" And she says, "Well, I don't really get into politics, so I'm not rightly sure. I just know that we don't want him here in Utah." Skip Barnett, what are your thoughts on a furry? What are your thoughts on fascism and why these young people don't even know the definition of fascism, but they are brainwashed to think that Donald Trump is a fascist, conservatives are fascist, rednecks are fascists. We're all fascists if we don't believe like the left does.
You're spot on there, Mike. I agree 100%. These people, I mean, to go as low as thinking that you can be a human in a cat's body shows you pretty much how disgraceful our youth are getting. You see, these last days before God had destroyed the earth with the flood, how out of whack things are. We're right there with them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. All right, Skip, well, I appreciate the phone call, brother. And now that you know how to use this, I hope that you call back more because we'd love to hear from you again. I know Tammy is one of your biggest fans. You can say hi to Tammy tonight before I scoot out of here. But thank you for calling in, Skip, and we'll be seeing you here soon.
You bet. Hey, you going to be up in this area?
I will let you know.
Yeah, I need to talk to you.
All right.
I'll be hopping up too.
All right, Skip. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Hey, I got a question for you too.
Yeah.
I saw a blip on. Somebody said that Trump's plane went down and he got killed, or was that just a fake news again?
Oh, that was fake news.
Okay, I thought so.
Yep.
Anyway, and you guys have a great evening. You guys stay tuned to this station. Keep finding out what Mike has to say, and Tammy, they're right on. Yeah, so don't be afraid to tune them in.
All right, thank you, Skip.
With that, I'll say good night to everybody. Thanks for.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, Tammy, that was our buddy Skip. He
Good guy.
He really enjoys listening to you. So
I know. I gotta get his feedback. You gotta fix that. Yeah, I look forward to getting to his place someday. He's got a whole ranch there and a whole bunch of stuff. So I keep saying I got to get up there someday. Get up yonder at Skip's house.
He's got a whole town he built.
So I'm going to read this if you don't mind. It's from DJT Jr. It just came out, and this was what he had to say about Charlie, because you're talking about honoring him. So I thought this was important to share. He just came out and said, "This isn't my strong suit, and I don't even know how to begin to put it into words, the loss I am feeling now over the assassination of Charlie Kirk." And I remind you guys, that is what everybody's calling this. Because it wasn't just...
It was assassination. It was not an accident. Now, them sons of bitches, MSNBC, put out a video right after this happened that, it was probably some Trump supporter shooting off a gun in celebration. That's horseshit.
Right.
This was an assassination on Charlie Kirk.
Exactly. So he continues to say, Charlie wasn't just a friend, he was like a little brother to me, and to the millions of people around the world, he was a true inspiration. He was one of the most courageous, principled men I've ever known, and he lived every day with purpose. His faith in God was unshakable, his love for Erica was inspiring, and the way he adored and cared for his two beautiful kids showed the kind of man he truly was. Charlie dedicated his life to something bigger than himself. He fought tirelessly for this country, for the values that make America great, and for the next generation. The impact that he had on young people, reaching them in masses, giving them courage to stand up, to think for themselves, and to fight for freedom is immeasurable. There is no question that Charlie's work and his voice helped my father win the presidency. He changed the direction of this nation. Charlie was never a threat to anyone. He was civil. This is all important. Listen to all this stuff. This is yes. He said he was civil, he was kind, he listened and responded with respect. The only threat he ever posed was that he was incredibly effective.
And truth.
Yes, he was a powerful messenger of truth, and people heard that truth. That's what made him a target. And this, to me, is what's very sad. This loss is absolutely devastating, not only for Erica and the kids, but for our country. We've lost a leader, a fighter, and a man whose character and conviction were rare, too rare. To think that his life was cut short by a brutal, heinous, evil act is beyond comprehension. It is horrible and it is heartbreaking. Moments like this remind us just how fragile our life is. We can't wait to tell people how much they mean to us. We can't admire them in silence. Charlie knew he was loved, but I want to say it again. He was a brother to me, and I will carry that with me forever. I know Charlie's legacy doesn't end here. He poured into millions of young people who will carry forward the torch he lit. He built something that will outlast him because it was grounded in faith, in truth, and in courage. And as his friend, I will never forget him. I'll honor him by loving boldly, speaking truth without fear, and continuing his spirit of courage. His fight lives on in all of us who loved him. This is an unimaginable loss for me, for his family, for everyone who loved him, for America. Rest in peace, brother. You will be missed more than words can ever say. But your legacy will never be forgotten, and we will keep fighting the good fight. And you and I have said that over the years, that we fight the good fight. We keep fighting the good fight. When we get tired, when we get down, when we feel defeated, etc., etc., we have to keep fighting the good fight because the enemy just wants us to give up. And the enemy wants us to stop. And the enemy wants us to stay home and be in fear and live in fear. All the things that the enemy has done is talking about, and we've talked about, separating family, causing individualism, staying behind a screen on your phone and not actually interacting with people, not getting out in the world, believing what you see on your little phone or your little computer, instead of getting out there and experiencing the world. We are far more greater together than we are apart. And there's a lot more people that are fighting for this country and want the same things than there are people that are trying to break that apart. And if we stick together and if we stay strong, we are going to save America and we are going to be great again. And I believe in everything that Donald J. Trump and his administration tells us and says. I believe that not everything's being done in the time that we want it to be done. There are tragedies that happen, but I really believe this is spiritual warfare, and there are going to be casualties in spiritual warfare and in warfare in general. And there's many things to worry about, but there are far more things if you have faith to believe in and realize that if I ask for God to give me the courage and strength to do what he would have me do, we can do it. And we can fulfill things that, are beyond measure in ourselves. We can't do it on our own. We need to have the faith and the strength. And even though, like I said, losing Charlie is a big travesty, we also have to just pick up that armor and carry on. We have to keep fighting. We cannot recoil.
Thank you for that, Tammy. I appreciate it. Again, if you guys would like to call in tonight, like I said, emotion is welcome. You can be sad, you can cry, you can be mad as hell. You can call in and say, tell us what the most memorable or favorite thing about Charlie Kirk that you have that you would like to share. The number is 620-317-1776 right there on your screen. You have to get off of your YouTube or whatever platform you're watching this on, but once you dial that number, you'll be able to still hear the show live while you're in the waiting room, and then until I bring you in. And we would love to have at least a couple more people call in tonight. I think it would be great to honor an American hero, Charlie Kirk. It's sad to know that there's so many hateful people out there, and unfortunately on the left, they allocate. They have said many a times, like I said at the beginning of the show, there are certain people that have said we need to put a target on that person's back. We need to engage these people in the street, yell and scream, and they have promoted and condoned and really pushed this whole narrative of violence. Now, they say that we are the party of violence, but I don't see anywhere out there where we're in the news constantly about taking somebody's life over something as simple as Charlie just debating people. That's all he did. He just debated people, and he did it well.
Absolutely. And I want to make a little comment here. Harvest Mary Moon said that senators in the halls of Congress booed when they said a prayer for Charlie Kirk. That tells you everything right there. That is disgusting. How can you boo a prayer for somebody who was savagely assassinated? It's just, it tells you, listen, we have to wake up.
I don't know if they booed, but I do know that they, that when they called for prayer and for silence, that they did say no. I don't know if they actually booed, but they definitely did not jump on board with, hey, this is somebody who's a true American. It's one thing to be a patriot, but in my opinion, Tammy, it's something completely different to be an American, right? I believe that we're all American. We're all red-blooded Americans, even if we have different views.
Yes.
Patriot is somebody else that takes it to a whole nother step. And is Charlie a patriot? Sure. But I think he was an American first. And he loved this country. And what a horrible, horrible thing to even consider. And I don't know who it is yet, and I'm sure we'll find out soon, but the person who decided to make a judgment call and taking somebody's life like that, what a horrible thing, just because you don't like what they say, what they're about, what they stand for, and that's where we're at here in America. It's happening all over the place.
Well, let's not forget this. You know, Charlie posted it was on his page 7 hours ago on X that he said, if we want to change things, it's 100% necessary to politicize the senseless unaliving of Irina Zaratustra, because it was politics that allowed a savage monster.
Well, he was talking about that when he got shot. He was actually talking about shooters and things like that when the shot rang out.
Well, it was the person who unalived that beautiful young lady.
Yeah.
He had 14 priors to be free on the streets to kill her. So we definitely have to make changes to that policy. That whole catch and release was ridiculous. I mean, what was terrifying to me and horrifying, and I don't care what side you're on, you stop and think about that. If that was your daughter, your sister, whatever it may be, a relative of yours, and you have her picture up there, and then the person who unalived her has 14 different mug shots next to her, how can that not infuriate you? Why would a person be released 14 times doing stuff like
Crazy.
that?
And we got a third caller tonight.
Okay, good.
So I want to go ahead and bring him in. All right, welcome to LWN Network. Caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Can't hear.
Hey, Cam. It's our brother Cam. I'm sorry. Hold on. There. Now we can hear. Go ahead, Cam. Sorry, I had you muted for a second.
I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if you want me to say what I'm gonna say. But,
as long as it doesn't have anything to do with Second Amendment equipment or any kind of kinetic retribution, you can swear, you can be mad as hell.
Well,
you can cry on this show with me. I'll cry with you. Whatever you have to say.
I'm not gonna cry, although it's sad what happened, but so I found out. I don't want to bore your show, man, but I think this is going to be a day that's at least to the patriot movement, I guess, because I'm tired of calling it MAGA. This is just real Americans that care about the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is very similar to the day I was on the way to the Social Security office to get a new Social Security card in the Twin Tower. The first plane hit the first Twin Tower,
which is anniversary is tomorrow.
Right. This is kind of one of those things, and we all remember how we felt when we heard that bad news back then. And I was on my way back from Indianapolis, and I wasn't paying attention to my phone. I usually watch, actually, Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, and I'll watch, the podcast during the day, Timcast and stuff like that. And I got an update on my phone, and it said Charlie Kirk has just been shot in critical condition. And I'm gonna be honest. I was like, "Is this?" You guys labeled your show that. I actually told somebody that back at about 4:00 this afternoon. I said, "This is similar to the shot heard around the world. Is this what it's going to be? Is how it's going to?" But really, all I'm going to say, man, is we've been saying it. I've heard Tammy say it. Hi, Tammy. How you doing? This is evil versus good. And I don't know any other way. I'm sorry, Mike. I might sound boring. I'm kind of like shell shocked.
No,
I really am. I don't. You can't say how you really feel.
Yeah, you can.
Which is also.
I'm giving you a voice.
Sad.
You say however you feel tonight, Cam. Don't hold back. Don't feel like you're going to offend me or you're going to bore the show. Tell me how you really fucking feel.
Well, I'm to a point now. I don't care to be doxxed. I don't care. I'm at my wit's end. I'm at that point. Jeff B was I did a little live stream earlier today on my channel, and the only reason I did, this, I haven't been live in like 2 years, and I just felt like I had to. I just felt like I had to say something to people, real people. I had to hear feedback from other people. I think that's what it was. I wanted to see what people said in the chat. And I didn't have many in there, but the 90% of the people in there were like, enough's enough.
They're angry.
Oh, very. Mike, I think that I don't know how to give. This is not a warning or a threat, but I just want to tell the people out here that are the evil ones, you are going to lose. You will lose. Don't take our kind nature as weakness, because
Correct.
It's not. We just have restraint. But I think after you did this to an innocent man that was a very good 31-year-old young man with 2 little babies and a wife, and you you killed someone for their First Amendment rights, for exercising their freedom of speech. And I'm going to tell, I don't care who this offends, but if this was the other way around and somebody was just a little bit different color or a member of a different party, there would be outrage. The streets would be on fire, and I think we're getting to a boiling. I don't think we're getting to a boiling point. I think people are just to a point. Is the possible punishment enough to outweigh the retaliation at this point? Because I'm going to tell you how I feel. I feel like a sitting duck. And this isn't just Charlie Kirk. This is that innocent girl on that railway train that got stabbed to death. And anybody that's got kids can't help but visualize, what if that was their daughter on her way to college? And I'm fed up, dude. I'm tired of the talking. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid if I say too much, you know what I mean? But I'm also tired of being afraid.
I asked Tammy this evening as she put this show together for us to put in the title, is this the straw that breaks the camel's back? And what I mean by that, and again, I don't want to go kinetic, in conversation.
Right.
But, you know, our founding fathers were pushed to a point where they had to make those same choices that are running through your mind right now,
You know what, Mike?
Cam, and,
You know what,
and
Mike?
my mind and everyone else's mind. And is this that moment? Could
Well,
it
I'll
be
tell you
this that
much.
moment?
You can tell me who said it. I think some people in your audience do, but the tree of liberty has to be watered by the blood of patriots from time to time.
Correct. And they
And I
say
don't
every
think we-
200 years, and Tammy says we're coming up on 250.
Yeah, we're coming up on 50, and this is what makes me feel better, man. It really does. And I know that we're gonna, you know, I just don't let them show themselves. But my God, I can't wait for the day it's our turn. I will say that. I'm to that point now. I'm not afraid to say that. I don't care if you frickin' report me, you dox me. I don't give a damn. Just remember, I know your names, and we know who you are now. And we know the Democrat Party's nothing more than Satanism, dude. Sorry. I'm just going to say it. There is no in between. It's good and evil. We know what they're willing to do to push their movement forward.
Let me shift gears on you, Cam, for a second. Let me shift gears on you and ask you this question. I saw a meme, I think it was yesterday on Facebook, that said for Trump's next magic trick, he's going to make the Democrats support the Mexican drug cartel. Now, Trump has done a lot of things that have shined light on certain situations and certain people and uncovered things and made us all realize what's really going on. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on Trump exposing corruption and evil for what it is? And he even said the Democrat Party is going to actually support and back up the Mexican drug cartel. And think about all the things in the last 6 years, the last 8 years that's been exposed, and how these people, honestly, and I agree with you, they almost, well, not almost, they support evil and evil doings and evil people, and all the things that happen to innocent people are the innocent people's fault or the right's fault or Trump's fault. What are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I'll start with kind of validating what you just said. Not me, but just history, right? So you remember about, let's say about 4 or 5 years ago when you would talk about can I say the guy's name that didn't kill himself? Which
guy are we talking about? There might be a couple of them.
Okay, well, the E, you know,
Epstein. Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein. Okay,
Yeah,
you remember how back in the day where we would talk about the Epstein list and all that, and all these other podcasters would accuse us of being QAnon and Q-tards and conspiracy theorists?
Yep.
Now look how fast the Democrats jumped on board with wanting to get it all exposed.
Because they think that it would take Trump down. That's why they think that it would actually, that Trump is on that list, that he did something wrong. That's the only reason why they're supporting it and want it, is because they think it could possibly take Trump down. What they don't realize is half them jackasses are on that list.
Yeah, he's on the flight logs. He was open and honest about it.
Yes,
and then
he was.
He banned frickin' Epstein from Mar-a-Lago when he found out what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
If they had something on Trump, why would they not have released it during Biden's administration?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's because no. So what I'm saying is, they'll side with anybody that is just simply against Trump and his following. That's it. They'll side with anything. And, you know, that's what I think about it. They're evil. They're just evil, Mike. Look at what just happened today.
I don't disagree.
Look at what happened to that Ukrainian refugee girl that fled a country that was war-stricken to seek refuge in the United States of America. And it turned out to be more deadly to her than her own damn war-stricken country.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they didn't want to cover it for what? 2 days? And then when the media on YouTube and all the other alternate outlets started exposing it, the left side media started saying how it was her fault. It was racism's fault.
Mm-hmm.
That's evil. How in watching that video do you come up with any other solution other than a random racist act? And he's walking away saying, "I got a white girl. I got the white girl."
Yeah. Oh, if that would have switched, flip script, a black and a white, the other direction, they'd be burning half the country over that.
So here's what I really think they're wanting to happen, and this is just my opinion. This is not. I could be wrong. This is just my stupid little opinion. They want people to retaliate. And before I even go further, this does not mean that I'm against it or for it. Okay? I'm just going to keep my mouth shut about that. Honestly, there's part of me that's like, let it roll. Because it looks at this point, it's the only way out. It's kind of like the two kids in school. The only way they can solve this is the principal to take them out in the back of the playground, let them duke it out, and make them shake hands afterwards. The only thing is we won't be shaking hands. But it almost seems like they want us to retaliate against people like this so they have a reason next time a Democrat does get in to take all of our rights away, basically.
Yeah, fuck that. They're not. They
can
take mine out of my cold, dead hand.
Exactly.
Here's my perspective
Mike?
Here's my perspective of what you just said. You know, I had this conversation at work today. Do I believe in Jesus Christ? Yes. Is he my personal Lord and Savior? Yes. Do I believe in turning the other cheek at times? Absolutely. I think there are appropriate times where, you know, it's not worth it. I'm going to turn the other cheek and just move on with my life. But nowhere in the scripture or nowhere in Jesus Christ's teachings does he say that we have to become victims and be sheep that are led to the slaughter. I will become a fucking lion and I will devour you and I will protect myself and my family and my country. And I'm not going to become this victim that you think that I'm a pushover and I'm easy and that I keep turning the other cheek because we are weak. Like you said at the beginning of your statement, do not mistaken our kindness for weakness, because we are not fucking weak. We are strong and we are capable and we have restraint, like you said earlier in your conversation. They are lucky that we have those restraint that we have, Cam, or this would have went a different direction a long time ago.
I know guys right around me, law enforcement, ex-military, and I'm not going to say that, but they're chomping at the bit. I'm just going to be quite honest, and I'm not going to lie. I live in a very red area, but I've heard plenty of people say, just give me the chance to clean it up, and I'll be willing.
A lot of people.
And I think all it's going to take, they're going to keep poking the bear, and there's going to be negative that comes from it if it does happen, because we're going to give them exactly what they want. My point is at this point, if we sit here and do nothing, we're racist bigots, right?
Mm-hmm.
They already call us that, right? They kill our political leaders. They stab our kids on trains. And if we do something, what are they going to say? The same damn thing.
I agree.
It's damned if we do, damned if we don't. So what? Are we just going to sit back and slowly get picked off?
No, not happening.
We're going to sit back until another Democrat gets in office, and then they employ the nuclear option and send the National Guard out on us. You know, so it's a game of tit for tat now, and I'm just to a point. I think I don't know how I felt today, man. I was just foggy, and I don't know Charlie Kirk like that, like most of us don't. But man, it just hit really close to home. It opened my eyes. It hit different. Well, I don't know any of my people that are going to the LGBTQ protest in downtown cities and targeting them.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Did any of us go out and take a shot at Joe Biden?
Nope.
Did any of us go out and take a shot at Barack Obama?
Nope.
They found out that Nancy Pelosi's husband was actually attacked by a Democrat voter. Okay, so where are we?
I think that was his lover. I'm not sure, but I think that might have been his lover.
Right. But my point is we're not the violent people, but they accuse us of being racist and violent.
Correct. Because
We've
that's
sat
what
at our
that's what
houses.
evil does. Evil projects what it truly is on the opposite individual. It's a mirror thing. They look in the mirror. They're trying to mirror Christ, which they can't, but yet they turn around and they project what they are on us. And we know the games, and I appreciate the phone call, Cam. We're going to get to Trump's statement here and play this for the audience. Please don't be a stranger and call back
No,
here
I
very
won't,
soon.
man. I'm just at wit's end. That's what I had to say. We got to do something. And I don't know what that is, man, but the talking's not working. They're killing people. They're killing people.
All right. Well, thank you, Cam. Appreciate it. Call back soon.
All right, there.
Nice.
All right. Hold on a second. Let's play this, and then we'll get your comments, Tammy, because I know there's some feedback right now, so I'm going to go ahead and play it.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before. and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
It's heart-wrenching. I'll wait until
right.
the mute.
I think I got it muted.
That you do have it muted. That's good. But yeah, I agree with a lot of things that Cam had to say. I obviously agree with what Trump has to say. We shouldn't have to be dealing with things like this just because people are voicing and trying to make America better. I feel like even though a lot of progress has been made, I feel like there's still a lot of evil out there that is going to keep fighting. And unfortunately, I don't think this is the end. I think this is just the beginning, because we know that evil doesn't want to give up, and they aren't going to give up lightly. They have nothing to lose, so they're going to keep fighting. And I think we just have to prepare ourselves. We really do. And even though they're putting in laws and rules that are going to hold people accountable, it's going to take a while before people get the message that if you do something like this, you're going to pay a price. And whether it be your life, whether it be life in prison, no matter what it's going to be, it's going to take a while for that to kick in. And I just think that our laws have been so pro the criminal and against the innocent. It's been shameful. And we have to reverse that 100%. And we've seen that over the last while of the different things, the things that happened in the church not that long ago, the girl on the transit the other day, the Ukrainian girl, and now Charlie. I mean, when is enough? Why would anybody in their right mind not want ICE and agents and police in their cities to curb this kind of atrocity? You always, some of these left that are against it, what's going to happen and how are you going to feel when you need ICE and you're against them and you're going to want them? Who are you going to call? Everybody calls on the police, the emergency people when they need help. Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous. That's not how we're supposed to live our lives, in fear and worrying about being, taken out.
I don't live in fear, Tammy. I pack the Second Amendment with me all the
Correct.
time. I will not live in fear, and I will
Some
not
people
hesitate. I will not hesitate to defend myself or my family or my country. So, I think that's how all of us needs to be. Whether you want to be or not. I think the greatest thing that you can do to curb any evil or anything that wants to do that would be to really exercise your Second Amendment right and make sure that you're always in a position of protecting yourself.
Well, my question is this. Why is it barbaric or considered barbaric to have public, with the little noosey thing, or if you steal to have a hand? You know what I mean? Why is that barbaric, but letting criminals out like the one that was let out 14 times, that's the way we're supposed to be? Do you think people are just going to automatically be okay and they're automatically going to say, you know what, I got out this time, so I'm not going to do it again? We've seen that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. So you need to be made an example of. You need to be held accountable for your actions. To me, that's the only way to change it. If you think it's barbaric, then I don't know what you think the answer would be.
Move to China.
There you go.
So I'm going to put you on notice, Tammy. We're rolling into final thoughts.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so I want to say this to all the listeners out there. We got a lot of people. We got a lot of people listening tonight. So for those of you who are over there on X, if you guys can do us a huge favor to help this channel grow, hit that like button, subscribe. Share us out, repost us on X. That would be great. If you could do the same thing on Rumble, hit that Rumble button, like us, subscribe if you haven't considered subscribing. Share us out on any of your social platforms, on YouTube as well. We finally broke 300. We've been a lot bigger than that, but 300 is the number tonight. If you guys can hit the like button, subscribe on YouTube, Rumble, X. Share us out on YouTube. That'd be great. And over there on Facebook, we got taken down. My page got jacked, so we're starting all over too. And Tammy's managing that for us. So any likes, subscription, subscribe, likes, whatever you want to call it, share us out on Facebook. That would help us grow as well on Facebook. And I just wanted to say that because we don't say it very often. Probably need to say it a whole hell of a lot more to grow these platforms yet again. We've been at the top, we've been knocked down, we've been at the top, we've been knocked down, and so we're climbing back up there. So I had to say that before we roll into final thought, Tammy. Again, tonight was all about honoring an American hero, honoring his life, his legacy. He will not die in vain, and he will never be forgotten. We will continuously remember Charlie Kirk and all the good that he did in this world, and how he brought the young people to the table, and he exercised his right of free speech, and he injected truth. He injected the facts into our young people out there and taught them reality, and taught them how things truly are, instead of the illusion and the brainwashing that they get in our public universities that are nothing more than an indoctrination camp. With that being said, Tammy, I'm going to go back to you for your final thought.
Well, I'm going to echo what President Trump had said, saying that we ask all Americans to commit themselves to our American values, for which Charlie Kirk lived and died all these years, the fight that he fought so hard for. The values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, which is of utmost importance, and the patriotic devotion that he had, knowing that this could possibly happen someday, but he never gave up. He didn't care. He said, I have to do it, and I will do it. So devotion, passion, and also, first and foremost, you guys, the love of God and the faith to stay strong and hold strong, because without God, we really don't have anything. We don't have any power, any control on our own. We need to follow what God's will is for us, and that's what I believe, and I agree with Charlie on that. Without God, we're lost, and that's my final thought.
I'm going to piggyback on that and say this country, ever since we decided to take God out of everything, this country has been lost, and that's why we're at where we're at today. With the assassination of Charlie Kirk, this country was founded on Judeo-Christian values with God. We had God in our churches, we had God in our schools, we had God in our homes and in workplace, and we've taken God out of everything. And that is why I believe, my personal opinion is why we're in the shape that we're in today. And we have to get back to Jesus is our rock and our foundation. And if we build a home on the rock and our foundation, then we will always be strong and can weather any storm. This is another storm. And I know people are mad as hell. I know people are sad. This is another storm. This is another, in my opinion, test on what America truly is. And I think that we are a wonderful, great country that God has truly blessed. I know that the universities that Charlie fought against did not teach that. They taught that we were slave owners and that our founding fathers were corrupt and racist and this and that. And it's been horrible to see the erosion of the American dream and the American values and the American standard of excellence. And so Charlie believed in that, and we believe in that, and we want to continue his work, our work, God's work, by telling each and every one of you that you are God's child and that he has a plan for each and every one of us, and he had a plan for Charlie, and Charlie lived that to the last minute of his life, and we're going to continue to push forward here at LWN Network, and really appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Again, if you could hit the like button if you haven't hit it, subscribe to us, share us out, share us with your family and friends. Really easy to do. There should be a share button there, and you can share us out on all your platforms. So, Tammy, thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to just make it short and sweet. I'm going to hit that kill switch, and we're out.
Sounds good.
God, I just one more thing before we leave. Please, tonight, before you go to bed, say a prayer for Charlie and for his family and for his children and for his immediate family. They can use every prayer that we can send their way right now, because I'm sure, I don't know how it feels, but his wife is in a bad spot. And I'm sure she is leaning on God for comfort, and we need to continue to send those prayers their direction. And if you guys could do that for us tonight, I don't even care about the like button or any of that other stuff. Just send those prayers, more important than anything. So, Tammy, thanks for joining me. Thank you guys for being here tonight. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.